Hello everyone and welcome to the Milan Sharma Show. I'm your host Milan, and today I will be reacting to a video from Chris Williamson's channel, YouTube channel, that is. And the subject will be about cancellations. So, creators being deplatformed is what they're referring to. And Chris Williamson is speaking to Destiny, who's on the right of your screen. And Destiny is a frequent YouTube streamer and Twitch streamer. He's also a very popular video gamer in the online space as well. So without further ado, here's the video.
How effective do you think cancellation is at silencing people? I saw that Sneeko just got another strike on his YouTube channel, lost his TikTok account, lost his Twitter, and he seems to not really see it as a concern. Andrew Tate says that he's got even bigger since he left, and then Steve will do it. Was it the NASDAQ announcement thing for Rumble as well? Do you think that it's cope to say you get bigger when you're cancelled, or is it legit?
It's huge cope. I think canceling is really good at getting rid of people. It's not very good at getting rid of ideas, though. So you can get rid of the man, but you're probably not going to get rid of the underlying current of thought that elevated them to the position they were in before. And that's going to still be there waiting for another person to kind of like take the reins on it.
So I fully agree with Destiny's point here. I think removing a person, deplatforming them, I believe it definitely removes them speaking to listeners, because a lot of listeners aren't going to go to the other platforms because it takes extra work. You got to download an app, you got to go to another website, subscribe, make an account, all those things. So many people, the majority of listeners, aren't going to do that. However, the idea that a person spreads, other YouTubers are going to copy that format, that script, and they're going to share that on their platforms and reuse and regurgitate those ideas. And I think Destiny makes a great point in saying that.
So they set a type of rhetoric that creates an echo that other people can then fall into.
Kind of, yeah. Or like, have you ever heard of a concept called the Overton Window?
Yes.
A lot of people don't know this, so they don't seem to understand this. The Overton Window is discovered. It's not created. Politicians are trying to find where people are, and they can move them a little bit, but it's not like politicians say, this is the Overton Window, this is how far right and left they are. It's really a big struggle for politicians trying to figure out, like, where are people, and then where can I kind of, like, slot in myself so that I'm popular there. So, like, for instance, Donald Trump didn't necessarily significantly move the Overton Window in some direction, 3 dimensions or 2 dimensions or whatever, but more he identified, whether coincidentally or not, that's a whole other conversation. But he identified there was a whole group of voters that felt a certain way about something, and he was able to tap into that. When you've got people like Andrew Tate.
Right, I think he's really good at saying that, because a lot of people vote more so on the personality and the emotion that a certain leader brings out in somebody, rather than ideas and principles. That's why Nixon lost his re-election bid to back then candidate John F. Kennedy, because Kennedy was presenting himself in a much more relaxed state during debates that were beginning to be televised for the first time. But Nixon was actually the favorite because people thought he would be more popular with the debates. But when TV came on, Nixon appeared sweaty, he appeared a little bit anxious, and that affected his persona with the voting class. So I think Destiny makes a fantastic point here as well.
Or Sneeko that are getting really big, it's because there's a hunger for that type of thought. It's not like these guys are creating, like nobody had known about this until Take Him Under. It's that there are certain people that are hungry for that type of thought. So if you ban him, the banning is bad for that person. People will cope and say, like, oh, you can't get canceled, like they got even bigger. Well, then why didn't they just delete all their socials before? Like, there's a reason why people want to be on these platforms. But there's still going to be that underlying current of thought, and somebody's going to come by that's another red pillar or MGTOW or whatever and take the reins on it, I think. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think he makes a great point here, too, because it's very easy for someone to say, oh, I want to quit my job, I want to work for myself, I want to not go to college, or I want to build my own business. I want to create my own brand on my own organization, or my own network, or platform. And I think it's very easy to say that, but to actually do it, it's completely another story, because saying one thing is very easy, it sounds very bold, courageous, unique, but actually following up and doing that, many people don't want to do, because it's harder. The influence isn't there yet. So these platforms like Rumble, for example, or like these other platforms that aren't as mainstream, yes, people are going to start putting their content on there, but do they want to rely solely on these platforms that are second, third tier compared to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, etc.? I don't think so.
Right. I think, based on what I've seen, when you remove people from that ecosystem, the audience, at best, the absolute best that you can hope for, is it stays as big as it is now. But the discovery medium is these platforms that have millions and billions of users, right? If you're off YouTube, there is no more discoverability for you. If you're off Instagram and TikTok...
That's a great point.
How are people going to find you? You saw this with Alex Jones, right? Alex Jones had a country-sized audience. He got removed from social media, but you know that unless he creates some incredibly smart referral scheme, how are new people going to discover his message?
I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. Like, it's such an annoying thing to argue with people because it's such a massive cope otherwise, and it betrays everything we know about like how these platforms work. Like, if I'm a platform and I'm buying talent, the reason why I'm buying talent to come to my platform is because I'm trying to bring their fan base over. You know, I want to be on a platform where people are there not because Destiny's there, but because they're watching other people. If people are coming to a platform only for me, that means that platform doesn't have anything else left, like, for me to grow from, you know? Like, so Rumble is definitely growing a ton off of Andrew Tate, but I don't think Andrew Tate is going to grow a ton off of Rumble.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. And I know Rumble recently became, I believe they're now on the stock exchange, I believe, on the NASDAQ. I may be wrong, but that just happened in the date of this recording, like less than a week ago.
Yes, very interesting. Well, there has to be a critical mass where Rumble could acquire so much talent that it might actually start to move the needle. For instance, Spotify's acquisition of Cole Haddadi and Rogan changed what people listened on. Maybe there's an argument to be made that people are going to watch some video content and they're maybe a little bit more platform agnostic, but I would argue that the reason Spotify worked is most people already had it. Spotify was coming in with a huge amount of existing brand equity, and it's actually a genuinely better experience for listening to podcasts on too. So it's a superior product that already had equity coming in, as opposed to Rumble, who are kind of holding onto the coattails of these big creators that they're bringing over. Steve will do it, Sneeko, Tate.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest issues with Rumble, I don't know if Destiny's going to go into this, and it's not really their fault, but Rumble, people are going on Rumble because YouTube is deplatforming or at least limiting their exposure, so then they're going on Rumble. It's not really the fact that Rumble is a creator's first option, because it's a new platform. They're not going to get as much exposure. So people are going to Rumble because of the negativity associated with being banned or being taken off a mainstream network. So we'll see if Rumble gains its influence. I'm not sure, but we'll see in time.
Yeah, the books are still probably being written on how to do this effectively. Like, nobody really knows 100%, like, how do I grow an alternative platform? There's a reason why, I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm willing to bet that, like, Twitter, Facebook, these platforms are probably, like, 15 years old at this point, right? I know Facebook is at least that old. Twitter is probably, I feel like I've seen tweets from 2008. So, like, these are old platforms, and people have tried to start new platforms, buy a bunch of talent, and it still kind of falls through. So, yeah, it's very difficult to grow a new platform completely organically unless you're literally offering, like, the whole package. Like you said, it's got to be a product that's good on its own, that is like, why would I use this over something else? It's got to have unique talent there that you can't find in other places. It's got to have some kind of discoverability or hook in areas on other parts of the internet that people are using. Like, there's a lot that has to go right. And man, the barrier to entry for stuff like that is probably getting higher and higher and higher every day, like pharmaceutical levels in terms of how much money you have to spend to get people over on these platforms, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, TikTok, perfect example, right? I thought we'd reached saturation for the number of different channels that people would have, because there's other stuff. I don't know. You hear about people that use Gab or Yikiak. You remember Yikiak? Did you ever see that?
I don't think I did. No.
So it was a location-based announcement, kind of like Twitter, but it was all anonymous, so you couldn't see who did it, and it was all location-based. So you could basically spread rumors about people. It was Gossip Girl, but on a thread, and it was completely location-based. So you would only see the stuff that was around you.
Oh, I'm not gonna remember this, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Kind of. There was another app called like Whisper or something. It wasn't called that, but it was similar. Like, basically, when you open the app, there's like 20 things.
Okay, they're getting into something else, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and share this video. And yeah, I just want to get into this. My point here, mainly, is I just want to discuss this topic with you guys and really share this subject that's so impactful in today's culture and today's web interface because it's so prevalent. People watch others that are popular and then they get deplatformed, they get delisted, and I think it's important to follow what goes on here. And you could argue that that the comments someone like Sneeko or others have said are dangerous and they should be taken off, which is a subject for another video. My focus for you watching this is to dig deeper into the reasoning, not the reasoning of the banning, but more so how platforms are delisting others. The process of it going on when people don't have strikes and they get taken down right away. Is this healthy for the online space? Is this going to prevent dangerous ideas from being spread? When someone gets bullied because of an influencer online, is taking that influencer away from the internet going to solve that problem? So all these questions we really need to think about. Because, in my personal opinion, yes, limiting someone's exposure may inhibit or may prevent them from being hateful and coming across hateful ideologies. I do believe that's definitely possible. Though the internet is huge, it's millions of people, and I think when you're taking people off, those ideas aren't going to go away, like Destiny stated right here. And I do believe that it's so hard to say because there's so many different ideas, there's so many different points of views to really go at with this perspective of cancellation. But I don't have a direct answer. I think cancellations as a whole isn't a great thing unless there's a direct harassment link for others. And it's so hard because people could say they get these hateful ideas from this person online that's thousands of miles away, and that they get taken off because of that one person that gets hateful comments and his victims and their victims. So it's so hard to really regulate these sorts of boundaries when it comes to these ideas. So that wraps up this video. I'm Nolan Sharma. Thank you everybody for watching. Please like, share, comment anything you want. Favorite emoji really helps me out. And thank you so much, everybody. Cheers.